are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. My name is Justin, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric, and I am so excited to be welcoming two fantastic actors from The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim animated film, which is in theaters as of December 13th. So tomorrow, at the time of when you're listening to this podcast, a huge thanks to our friends at Warner Brothers Canada for setting up this interview and allowing us to participate in this press junket. I had the distinct privilege of chatting with Gaia, the voice of Hera, as well as Laurence Ubong Williams, who is the voice of Fréaláf Hiddleston, who is the cousin to Hera in this film. We chat about their roles, the impact that this story has on the larger Lord of the Rings filmography, and the importance that their characters have to this story. It's a really great conversation. Very excited for you all to listen to it. We have our spoiler-free review for The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, out now for you to enjoy as well, along with this interview. And we have a lot more stuff coming. We are nearing the end of 2024, and it seems like we're super, super busy. We got one more week. We got a lot of stuff in store, so be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. As well, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/geekcentric, you can find this interview in video form on that channel, as well as a variety of other interviews that we've done this past year. 2024 was a very, very good year for us. We've had some great opportunities, and we are so humbled and so grateful for every chance that we get to chat with whomever it is that is behind the things that we love. So without further ado, let's get to the interview for today. Please welcome Gaia and Laurence Ubong Williams.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. My name's Justin. I'm from Geekcentric. How you both doing?
Yeah, excellent.
Brilliant.
All the better for seeing you.
Brilliant.
All the better.
Awesome. Well, look, I know you guys have been probably spending a lot of time today talking about your characters and who they are and the role that they play in this story, but I thought we could have a little fun. I'm curious to know if you had to describe each other's characters, how you would go about doing that. So Gaia, if you had to describe who Fréaláf is, who is he?
He is a man with a very strict code of honor and a very balanced moral compass, who is willing to do anything to defend the people he loves, and that includes the people of Rohan as well as his cousin Hera. But he's also aware of his, I think, position within the family and knows not to overstep his boundaries, especially with Helm.
Yes, absolutely. You really get to see that unfold.
Could not have said that better, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, Laurence,
been laid down here.
We should do interviews on this.
Why did you have to go first?
yeah. Well, now, here's your chance, Laurence. Who is Hera?
Okay. First word comes to mind is fearless. She is fearless.
Mhm.
And although obviously conflicted by the sense that she has abilities and capabilities, she has this sense, the family, the code of honor of the Rohirrim says that she must be this, she ought to be this, but in her mind and in her heart, she knows she can be so much more.
Mm.
Mhm.
And of course, she's endowed with love, loyalty, honor as well, but a great strength that we get to see grow and like blossom throughout the entire story of this film.
Yeah, that's you guys nailed it. You guys nailed it. It was great.
It was a draw. It was a draw.
It was a draw. Yeah, it was good. And I love that because I think it's so easy for us to, I'm sure it's easy for you guys to talk about your own motives and intentions, but it's really great to hear it from other perspectives to understand how that character is resonating. And talking about like characters resonating, voice acting is so much more than just lending your voice, right? There's actions that kind of go with that, but there's also kind of like this aspect that I've always found of really trying to find the character's soul through the voice and translating that in a performance that animation will then elevate. I would love to know for both of you, like, what aspects of your characters do you resonate with personally?
Well, yeah, that sense of always wanting to know what the right thing is to do,
Mm-hmm.
then finding out how on earth you should do that when you have so many obstacles in front of you.
Right.
There's also this sense of he has to be patient. He has to do a lot of waiting in the film for his moment to do the right thing for the people he loves. And that was something that I thought was just quite beautiful to explore.
Mm-hmm.
But we also I have to say that I owe so much to our wonderful scriptwriters who gave us all these moments
Right.
that give us the soul of a character, show them their vulnerability, their conflict. This moment shows their strength. Maybe this section shows a bit of their flaws, their weaknesses, or whatever.
Right.
And that's a massive credit to the people who wrote the script, because
Right.
then as an actor, you go into the booth and you're like, I've got this moment to touch this part, this person's soul, dive into that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think, you know, I'm quite outdoorsy. I'm quite adventurous. You know, I grew up in the Highlands of Scotland, so that
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think her connection with the outside world, I love, in nature. I think that what I loved about Hera especially is the fact that she uses in many ways her vulnerability as a source of her power, because it allows her to you know, maybe access bits of her soul that otherwise would have been blocked off, you know.
Right.
Especially if she had been raised, let's say, as a young man in Rohan, I doubt she'd be as vulnerable. And I think I'd like to learn more about finding the strength in my own vulnerability as connected with Hera's character.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that the character's teaching you something as well,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
about yourself and
Yeah.
learning. That's so great. It's a give and take relationship. Now, obviously, this is a story that takes place well before the Lord of the Rings. I'm curious to know, how do you both see War of the Rohirrim expanding on the themes and mythology of Lord of the Rings, while, you know, kind of standing as its own unique chapter?
Well, I mean, you know, I love it because you're seeing the ancestry of people that you already know and love, and you know, in the ancestry of Éowyn, I think you see possibly a more archaic version of Rohan, a more archaic version of the Rohirrim. You know, but it's interesting also to see how little has changed in the way that the princesses of Rohan are treated.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
Éowyn and Hera have incredibly similar experiences.
Absolutely.
And a bit of you goes, you'd think they'd learn, but no. But
Yeah.
I think it's a standalone film in so many ways. But I think that people will love seeing the ancestry of the people of Rohan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to your point, the story of Hera kind of elevates the story of Éowyn,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, history has a way of repeating itself, sometimes not in the best ways. And I think to elevate Éowyn's story and understand where her strength comes from and her appreciation for her history, I think it's the same for I believe it's Éomer, who was played by Carl Urban. I think he's also shunned out by the Rohan, and you know, right? And then he comes back, and like I think there's a lot of overlap there about, you know, history repeating itself, but I think it gives more strength to these stories and these myths, and I absolutely love it.
It's so great that you bring up that Carl Urban character, because that was a way in as well, because he was sort of Marshal of the Riddermark, which is what Fréaláf is. That's his official title.
Yeah, so Fréaláf, I feel like both of you have very similar.
Justin, it's okay. Such a good time here, man.
No worries. Thank you so much for taking the time. It was great chatting with you. Alrighty, have a great day. Bye bye.